Hello, what is up everyone, it is Truth Abuse here and welcome to another Fallout video. I gotta say, this one is amazing. I spent some time on it, I spent some craft on it, I think you guys will really enjoy. Just before you get into the video, I'm trying to hit 1k subs by the end of this month. I know, a big goal, but if like 400 of you could subscribe, whoever watches this video, or even 100 of you could subscribe, that would massively help me get to this goal. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Like, comment, subscribe, I'll see you all at the end of the video. Fallout 4 has 4 main factions, and there has been a question that has been asked and asked time and time again, and is debated in almost every Fallout game, but especially Fallout 4. And that question is, who should run the Commonwealth? What ending is the best ending for Fallout 4, and what ending impacts the Commonwealth the most? Well, today, I am going to be answering this question. This long asked and long awaited question that many people still debate to this day. But before I do this, I need to discuss with you what makes a good faction in a Fallout game. And in my opinion, the only true answer of what a Fallout faction's whole ideals and whole reason of doing what they do should be around is the map itself. Take Fallout New Vegas as an example. Every faction links to New Vegas. What I mean by that is every faction is fighting for the land of New Vegas so they can change and move and do what they want with New Vegas and shape it into their image of what New Vegas should be. And Fallout 1 and 2 are the exact same, with the super mutants in Fallout 1 fighting for the land of the map of Fallout 1 and the Enclave in Fallout 2 fighting for the land of the map. So to put it in bold and to put it simply, a good faction is a faction that wants to do something with the map of the Fallout game they are in. For example, every faction in Fallout 4, they don't do this by the way, but every faction in Fallout 4 should have their own ideas around the Commonwealth and how they want to change it and rule it on their own. And I'm going to be going through each faction and evaluating how they would be best suited to run the Commonwealth and how it would really do for the Commonwealth. But there are 3 golden rules we need to look at if we're going to evaluate each of the 4 factions in Fallout 4. And my 3 rules / statements I'm going to be looking at is 1. How will the faction be helping the people? This means, how will the faction help the people of the Commonwealth? And what will they do for them? Will their lives improve? Will their lives not improve? Will they stay the same? We'll be evaluating this. The second thing I'm going to be looking at is what faction will change the Commonwealth for the better. Now, factions may gain power and end up changing the Commonwealth for the worst, so we want to see what faction makes the best improvement of the whole Commonwealth, not just the people, but the structure of the Commonwealth itself. And finally, I'm going to be evaluating how does this faction link to the rest of the Fallout universe. So for example, if the Brotherhood got control of the Commonwealth, would it really make that much of a difference in the whole Fallout universe? Well, probably not. The Brotherhood already own a lot of land, but we'll discuss that later on. Now that some ground rules have been set, let's get straight into the video. And speaking of the Brotherhood, I think we should start with them first. I thought it was only fitting to start with the Brotherhood because they have been in Fallout the longest. They have been in Fallout in one way or another. In every single game, the Brotherhood has had some sort of presence. So who are the Brotherhood? Well, if you clicked on this video, you already know, I'm sure, but I'm going to briefly go over their ideas and who they are. The Brotherhood are a brute force militaristic faction that believe in the complete abomination and destruction of anything that is not human, aka ghouls, synths, super mutants, and the preservation of their own soldiers, who are humans, lives. The Brotherhood are like my dad, hoarding old things they really don't need, except they think they do need them. The Brotherhood hoard lots of technology, but not technology that will improve healthcare or care for the people, war technology such as nukes and anything to do with the military. They hope that this technology one day will be able to secure them as the world leader, at least the US leader. They think this because, obviously, if you're the one with the biggest stick, no one's going to want to mess with you. So they hoard this nuclear power and technology for what they think is the better. Why the Brotherhood in the Commonwealth? Well, it's very simple. A soldier, or rather a paladin called Dansk, actually tells us that the Brotherhood are here on field missions looking for knowledge and technology, nuclear technology, they have not yet found. However, it's revealed to us not too later on in the game that they have a very sinister, ulterior motive, and that is to destroy a faction known as the Institute. The Institute makes things called synths. Now, to break this down simply, synths are pretty much just like robots. Think of them as androids from, I don't know, Detroit Become Human. And the Brotherhood want them gone. They don't want any machine doing mankind's work for them. That is why they are in the Commonwealth. How does the Brotherhood's main quest go? Well, to put it shortly, doing the Brotherhood's main quest mostly focuses on you taking down the Institute. You do this by building a massive fuck-off robot known as Liberty Prime and basically charging it into the Institute and then just blowing up the Institute. This has always confused me because the Brotherhood love their technology, they love their power, and I understand that they deemed the Institute too dangerous to wield this technology, but why they didn't keep some of it for themselves? I don't really understand. Like, you would have thought they'd take the fusion reactor and stuff, like, they just blow it up. I would have thought they would have at least done some recon. But anyway, that's besides the point. After you do the main quest, Elder Maxon, the leader of this Brotherhood outpost and the leader of the Brotherhood, tells you that your mission is now to gather supplies and keep the Brotherhood airship, the Pridwin, alive. Now, what are the good things about the Brotherhood ending and the Brotherhood ruling over the Commonwealth? Well, to start with, no, the Brotherhood do not give a shit about the people of the Commonwealth, and they do steal from them. However, the Brotherhood having control over the Commonwealth means no large-scale threat, such as the Enclave or the Institute, could get into the Commonwealth and really cause the people some damage. I mean, the Brotherhood are a hard-as-nails faction. They will protect the Commonwealth indirectly, at least. Oh, and one more thing, at least the big bad Institute is gone, I suppose. I mean, if the people of the Commonwealth were scared of the Boogeyman Institute, they're now gone, so I suppose that's a good thing. Now let's talk about the many, many bad things about the Brotherhood ending, because there is many bad things. Now, the Brotherhood are now in control of the entire Commonwealth, and that means they are here to stay, which may be a problem for the people of the Commonwealth themselves. This is because the Brotherhood are a large-scale faction, and they really do depend on resources. How do they get these resources? Well, they go to the locals and steal them. And the Brotherhood don't exactly ask nicely. If you're a farmer who don't want to give your hard-earned crops and food and water to the Brotherhood, they'll straight up murk you and take it for themselves. They do not give a fuck. And this is where this is where the Minutemen come in. You see, the Minutemen are a very interesting faction, because what if you decided to build the Minutemen up alongside the Brotherhood, but then did the Brotherhood ending? Well, the Minutemen would not be too happy with the Brotherhood, and this could rise tensions between the two factions astronomically bad. The Brotherhood would make no effort to improve the situation about raiders, gunners, or super mutants unless it indirectly hurt them. I could see them taking down the super mutants for the pure fact that they're not humans, but other than that, they really wouldn't help the Commonwealth in any way, so there'd still be massive problems for the people when it comes to raiders, gunners, and super mutants. Well, maybe not super mutants, but at least raiders and gunners. Arguably, living conditions would get worse for the people of the Commonwealth because, like I say, the Brotherhood ransacking your farm every couple months because they're low on food and water really wouldn't do your whole infrastructure very good now, would it? All of Synths and Nick Valentine, our good friend, shortly after the victory over the Institute, the Brotherhood would probably hunt down and completely exterminate. Ghouls would be at massive threat and a threat of racism and even murdering just ghouls because the Brotherhood hate anyone who is inhuman, so towns like Goodneighbor could even have war by the Brotherhood on them simply because they have too many ghouls. And when the Minutemen get sick of this and decide to fight back and maybe declare war on the Brotherhood, all-out war would break between the two factions, and with the Brotherhood only keeping the Minutemen alive, I think the Minutemen would lose, but think of the damage this would do to the Commonwealth. Now, this is my final conclusion and thoughts on what would happen if the Brotherhood got control of the Commonwealth in the Brotherhood ending. So the first thing that would happen is Brotherhood would start to set up multiple camps around the whole of the Commonwealth, and they would start taking from farms heavily. I'm talking food, water, resources. Farmers would be up to their necks in just pretty much debt from the Brotherhood. The Minutemen would arguably get very pissed off at this, and Preston and his Minutemen would declare war on the Brotherhood. This would start out all-out war for the Commonwealth, and then there would be even more chaos and destruction. Once the Brotherhood win, because let's face it, the Minutemen are never going to be able to stand up to the might of the Brotherhood at this stage, the Brotherhood would simply walk on over the destruction they have now caused to the Commonwealth and start to take down abominations of the Commonwealth, such as super mutants and ghouls. Yes, there are no more super mutants, this is good, but ghouls may start to get moved out of cities, and cities like Goodneighbor may even get invaded by the Brotherhood, and there might be a war there too, simply because ghouls exist. Synths, like I said before, would be completely exterminated. That includes your old friend Nick Valentine, and the Commonwealth would be one miserable shithole. Now that's the scenario that I, as a Fallout fan, realistically think will happen. You may think different, but that's just how I see it would happen. The worst case scenario is that the Brotherhood go full bloodthirsty, and this would be where they straight up murk the Minutemen, keep stealing from farmers, murder ghouls, all ghouls would be murdered I mean, kill the entire population of synths that's left, and then just crush any rebellion in their way, and there would pretty much be no Commonwealth left. I feel like the best case scenario with the Brotherhood in control is that they kill raiders and super mutants indirectly. They do it because, you know, they just hate them or they get in their way, which would help the Commonwealth, and then they'd only kill the Minutemen, and ghouls and, you know, synths would still be hunted down, but ghouls would sort of just be there and like just heavily racist against them. This is the best case scenario, I feel, and it would be good for the Commonwealth as a whole because there'd be no large scale threats to the Commonwealth, because the Brotherhood could protect the Commonwealth from another entity like the Institute, the Enclaves, something like the Brotherhood attacking, so there would never really be a problem there. However, in conclusion, I think it's completely unavoidable that the Minutemen will have to go to war with the Brotherhood. I mean, if they want to protect the Commonwealth, that is. And the Brotherhood, while they will protect the Commonwealth, will cause massive threats to ghouls, Minutemen, and kill synths. I mean, all synths will be gone. And the most important thing here is that I don't think the Brotherhood would really look out for the people of the Commonwealth. The Institute are the Brotherhood's public enemy number one, and I think it's only fitting to now bring them up. The Institute are a faction of pretty much scientists that lock themselves away from the wasteland under the ground a long time ago. The Institute made things called synths, which are heavily advanced robots who go above ground to seize technology and take things the Institute needs to keep humanity alive underground. The Institute's core belief is that humanity can survive, but only underground and under shelter. What do the Institute want with the Commonwealth? Well, it's actually really simple. The Institute, literally exactly like the Brotherhood, just want technology. They send synths up to get technology, and they also send synths up to get people. Scientists, smart people, smart mercenaries, anyone who interests the Institute, they'll nab them like that, kidnap them, bring them down to the Institute, and they'll use them as an asset, and that is the only reason they even have any link to the Commonwealth. The Institute's main quest, let's talk about that. Well, you meet a guy called Father, who's actually your son. That's not a joke, I'm Bethesda. That's not confusing at all. Anyway, but Father tells you basically the only way humanity can survive is underground. So you go on tasks of getting synths back to the Institute and finding technology, and it basically ends you up with having to take down the Brotherhood and the Railroad. You take down the Brotherhood because they're in your way, you take down the Railroad because they free and liberate synths and interfere with the Institute and their ways, and then you go back to the Institute and Father's pretty much like, yep, now we're staying underground, so cool. So what are the good things about the Institute option / ending? Well, by far the best thing, without a doubt, is humanity's chance of survival now has been doubled. The fact that we now have probably one of the smartest factions still alive in the whole of the Fallout universe means that humanity really does have a chance of survival, albeit under the ground and not even on the proper Earth itself, but humanity's chance is doubled, and of course the Brotherhood threat to the Commonwealth is dealt with. What's bad about the Institute ending and the Institute option? Well, ironically, the worst thing about the Institute option for the Commonwealth is that nothing gets worse and nothing gets better. You are pretty much just keeping the Commonwealth exactly the same. The people are not affected, the Commonwealth itself is not affected, the only thing that's effective is the Fallout universe, like I said, humanity, survival, all of that. So the bad thing is that there's still super mutant problems, there's still raider problems, there's still gunner problems, there are still all the problems above land that aren't going to get fixed. Sure, there's not going to be any wars, like the Institute aren't going to fight the Minutemen because it seems above them to fight the Minutemen, but it's just never going to get any better for the people above land and above ground, and also, of course, the synths and, the murdering of the railroad is now gone. And also, there is still a lot of fear about the Institute as a concept and the Institute as a faction. People, if they're not scared, they're just very unsure about them. If the Institute gained control of the Commonwealth, this is what I think would happen. Well, nothing. Nothing would change, nothing would get better, nothing would get worse. There would be no war between the Institute and Minutemen, but the Raiders, the Gunners, the Super Mutants, the poverty and the poorness and the lack of water and the lack of food for the Commonwealth would all still be the same, and it would just be up to the Minutemen to help, and I really don't think they could do that. The worst case scenario, I suppose, is that the Institute go for the older gen synths as well. I mean, it's already inevitable that the Institute will take back synths, but the worst case is that they go for Nick Valentine and people like that, and they just try to take them back. The best case scenario is that the Institute literally just stay underground and focus on building up technology for humanity's survival, and then send some courses out to deal with some raiders and super mutants coincidentally whilst trying to get synths back. I mean, that's the best ending. Personally though, if the Institute got control of the Commonwealth with their ending, nothing would really change. I can't hammer that in enough. Nothing would really change. Sure, some synths would get taken back. I mean, maybe Nick would be in danger, but the people are still in danger of raiders and super mutants and gunners and God knows what else and everything else. And the Minutemen can still operate, but they won't speak to the Institute because that's below them. It's below the Institute, and the Minutemen won't be able to deal with it all on their own because it's just too much. And the Institute, the only good thing about this ending in my opinion is that the Institute can rebuild humanity's chances of survival underground. That's about it. But with that reason, the sheer reason of the Fallout universe, like I was talking about earlier, it does a lot for the Fallout universe. So if that's your reason for picking the Institute, I can understand that. Next up is my least favourite faction in Fallout 4 and one of my most hated factions I have ever talked about ever. If you haven't seen me talking about the Railroad, or if you've watched one of my videos before, it's comedic at this point that I hate these bastards so much, but I need to talk about them, so let's do it. The Railroad are the complete reverse opposite to the Institute. They believe that synths are free, so they were literally made to save and free and liberate synths. They believe that the Commonwealth would be a better place by saving these synths, and they're sort of an underground group like the Institute, but with a lot less technology and a lot more brain power to sort of free and do the right thing. Why the Railroad in the Commonwealth? Well, it's incredibly simple. They are in the Commonwealth because they want to free synths. They want to make the Commonwealth better because they believe that these robots are people. These robots have their own cognitive brain, so they deserve to be free. The Railroad main quest has you go undercover into the Institute and take it down from the inside and save as many synths as you can. Once you do this, you have to attack and kill the Brotherhood because they invaded the Railroad's territory and tried to kill a load of Railroad agents. So you fly a vertibird up there, go undercover, blow up the Brotherhood and kill all them lot, and then Desdemona tells you that you are now going to focus on, at the very end of the game, once you've taken down the Raiders or taken down the Institute and the Brotherhood, you're going to focus on taking down Raider forces that kidnap synths, and you're going to focus on just helping synths get out of the Commonwealth and killing any Brotherhood stragglers that are left. You know, I would really love to start this section of the video by saying the Railroad do nothing good and you should, the Brotherhood and Institute are far better. But sadly it's not true. It's actually comedic because I hate the Railroad so much, but when recording this video and when writing up this video, I realized how much the Railroad do for the Commonwealth when you think about it from an ending point of view. First of all, the Railroad wipe out the Institute and Brotherhood, which is good and bad. It's terrible because all these lives are gone, including children and a cat. I will never forgive them for that. And of course, technology is just wasted and lost here and mankind's survival is gone. But at the same time, think about it. The biggest threat to the Commonwealth was the Institute and the Brotherhood. The people of the Commonwealth are now safe from the Brotherhood stealing their food and water and demanding literal taxes, pretty much. And the people of the Commonwealth are safe from getting kidnapped or shot by synths. The Railroad can also now free synths, and synths are free. They're liberated. They can live, which is incredible. It's good, actually. The Railroad are also dedicated to taking down raider gangs, which means that eventually raiders should just disappear out of the Commonwealth. I mean, not entirely, but their presence should be gone. The Railroad and Minutemen get on really well as well, so I could see in the future perhaps some sort of coalition could be formed or something like that, and gunners and super mutants eventually could be tackled together. Now, there is an incredibly bad thing about the Railroad ending, and that's when you have to think about the future of the Commonwealth. Father warns us in the Institute ending that by taking down the Pridwin, taking down the Brotherhood airship, will not end the Brotherhood as a whole. Another Pridwin and another group of Brotherhoods will be sent to the Commonwealth to exact revenge, and this is where the problem starts with the Railroad. You see, when the Brotherhood come with a full-scale invasion force come knocking on the Railroad's door, do you really think they'll be able to defend the Commonwealth? And if so, that means a long war between the Railroad and Brotherhood, which would be bloody and brutal, which could leave the Commonwealth in a worse state than before. The Railroad also have no capability of really defending the Commonwealth from the Enclave or any massive threat, because their numbers are so depleted. The Railroad, yes, would take down raiders, but it would take them a long time, and as for super mutants and gunners, like I said before, I think they'll still get to them, but it would take them a long time to do so. The Railroad also now have a lot of blood on their name because they've just wiped out the Brotherhood, one of the most feared factions in the whole of Fallout, and they've killed the Boogeymen, the Institute, so the reverse effect might happen and people might become scared of the Railroad, which would leave more people to not join. So what do I think would happen with a Railroad option? Well, let's talk about the best case scenario first this time. The best case scenario with the Railroad would be that they can crush the Raiders very quickly, improve the Commonwealth by taking down super mutants and Raiders, create a good connection with the Minutemen and sort of become allies with them, then be able to improve the Commonwealth people's lives, liberate more synths, and then be able to build an army quick enough to be able to fight off a Brotherhood invasion and protect the Commonwealth from any other threat. Now, the worst case scenario is that the Railroad are so depleted by the ending of the Railroad ending, because they are depleted, but they're so depleted that a raider gang just wipes them out, or even the Brotherhood comes knocking at their door and they just get wiped, which would mean either the Raiders are in charge of the Commonwealth or the Brotherhood are in charge of the Commonwealth, and if that happens, we're just back up to the Brotherhood ending, or even worse, like I say, Raiders. Here is what I think would happen with the Railroad ending though. The Railroad would successfully be able to wipe out raider gangs all across the Commonwealth, and then they would slowly start to improve the people and the citizens of the Commonwealth's lives, setting up drink stations, protecting them, and this sort of stuff. However, knock, the Brotherhood are here, and when the Brotherhood show up, would the Railroad really be able to fight them off? I don't know, it's very sketchy. If the Minutemen are a thing in this ending, and if the Minutemen decide to help the Railroad, and the Railroad ask and they say yes, after years of fighting and guerrilla warfare and tactics, the Railroad could fight off the Brotherhood. If the Minutemen say no, I think it's going to be really hard for the Railroad to pull a win on the Brotherhood here, especially because it's an invasion force. When the Brotherhood are locked on a task, they can't get finessed again, not like they did when you do the original Railroad ending. The Railroad, eventually, once they win, would be completely depleted and crumbling, But eventually they could start to help the Commonwealth improve. They could help the people, and they could help the Commonwealth improve as a society and as a place. However, it would take so long, and the main problem with this ending is that what does it mean for the overall Fallout universe? Absolutely nothing, really. I mean, it would take so long for the Commonwealth to become safe that having the Railroad in charge, it might as well have been the Brotherhood, because the Brotherhood would just take over again, or another faction would, I think. So the Railroad option is good, but there'd have to be a lot of time banking on the fact that they could rebuild the Commonwealth in a long period of time. Finally, let's talk about the Minutemen. You see, the Minutemen have been in the Commonwealth for a long time, in fact the longest. They were first made to protect the Commonwealth at all costs. However, a former general and a Minutemen soldier known as Preston Garvey tells you that a long time ago the Minutemen were taken down by a faction known as the Gunners. Once you start rebuilding the Minutemen with Preston Garvey, it becomes very clear that their goals are as simple as to protect the Commonwealth at all costs. The Minutemen's main quest has you slowly but surely rebuilding the Minutemen. You do this by recruiting settlers and helping them out with jobs such as, fighting off raiders, super mutants, or gunners. The Minutemen quest can end in a variety of different ways. One where you kill the Institute and the Railroad, one where you kill just the Brotherhood, or one where you kill both the Institute and the Brotherhood. Once this happens, the Minutemen will go back to doing their job, which is simply protecting the Commonwealth. Now, I think the good things for the Minutemen ending really do depend on which one you pick, and this video is already as long as it is, so I feel like I'm going to go off of my ending. The ending I did with the Minutemen was the one where you only kill the Institute. Now, personally, already I think this is the most ethically right ending. You're only killing one faction, which means the Brotherhood, Railroad, and the Minutemen are all still alive and breathing, which means you're killing the least amount of people. So if you're an ethical person, in your view, this may already be the right option to kill the least amount of people. You see, with the Minutemen and the Railroad, this means that not only synths are 3, but also the Minutemen and Railroad and even Brotherhood could all deal with super mutants, gunners, and raiders together, and they could do it quite quickly. You may be asking, why is it a good thing keeping the Brotherhood alive? Well, it's a good thing because the Brotherhood do protect the Commonwealth really well when they have to. If there is a full-scale invasion from a different faction or a different group, you can take them down because the Brotherhood will be with you to protect you. Now, what about stealing from the locals? The Brotherhood love doing that. Well, Mr. Elder Maxon actually has quite a lot of respect for you, and so do many members of the Brotherhood for doing it with the Minutemen. In Elder Maxon's fucked up worldview, it's better that you're doing it with the Minutemen because it just means more of his men are alive. This is why I think you could definitely reach a deal with the Brotherhood to set up their own farms and maybe even help them do some farming. The Minutemen could then slowly but surely improve the Commonwealth one step at a time. Now, the bad things about this ending is that it may take the Minutemen a long time to rebuild the Commonwealth. Coexisting with the Brotherhood is also going to be a problem, and the worst thing is that the Institute, mankind's best chance of, well, arguably best chance of survival, and, technology is now gone. I'm going to briefly go over all the Minutemen endings just to keep everyone happy here and show that my point of why I'm choosing my ending, because it's better. If you choose the ending where the Institute are kept alive but the Railroad and Brotherhood are dead, then the Minutemen are left to do it all on their own, so this would be incredibly difficult. If you choose the ending where both the Brotherhood and Institute die, I think the Railroad and Minutemen would have to team up. Synths would be free, ghouls would be safe, however the Brotherhood invasion is on its way, and the only way they would really be able to do that is by teaming up together, and the war with the Brotherhood could then last for years. The best case scenario with my Minutemen ending, where the Brotherhood and Railroad are still alive, is that the Minutemen could quickly and rapidly rebuild their army, take down the raiders with the help of the Railroad could free the synths, the Minutemen could take down the super mutants and gunners, and the Brotherhood and Minutemen could come to an agreement that the Brotherhood could take the technology they want, and as long as they farm their own land, they're happy to do whatever they want around the Commonwealth. The worst case scenario of this ending is that the Minutemen and the Railroad fail to sort of gain a companionship with the Brotherhood, or gain some sort of ground with the Brotherhood, and the Brotherhood just declare war on them again, which would have a bloody war on our hands. And the other problem would be that if the Minutemen, for some reason, couldn't rebuild their forces quick enough, they'd just be wiped out, or they'd take way too long to help people, so the Commonwealth would just be a shithole for a long time. This is the scenario that I think would happen, though. I think the Minutemen would start to very quickly actually rebuild their army. This is because the Minutemen have clout, and from all the people who have been helped by the Minutemen, they would really appreciate this and, want to join the Minutemen. The Railroad and Minutemen could form some sort of coalition/alliance in which the Railroad would deal with raider threats and protect synths, while the Minutemen take out super mutants and gunners. The Railroad, Minutemen and Brotherhood would meet together, and because the Brotherhood, thinks so highly as you, the player, you could discuss with the Brotherhood, or the Minutemen would discuss with the Brotherhood, the fact that the Brotherhood would have to farm their own land, farm their own supplies, and keep their own stuff going. The Minutemen could even support them in doing that, and in return the Brotherhood can take whatever technology they want around the Commonwealth. Now a lot of you may say this is a stretch of what the Minutemen would do, but it's Preston Garvey. Come on, you don't think he's going to be flexible? And the Minutemen have no real interest in nuclear technology, and nor do the Railroad, so I really don't see them why they wouldn't make this deal. Seems like a fair deal, and it seems like one the Brotherhood would actually abide by. After all, Elder Maxon definitely likes you, so it would happen. And finally, once the Minutemen have actually started setting up their own bases and military camps for the people of the Commonwealth to improve their lives, I think the Commonwealth as a whole would be improved, as the Minutemen could go into cities and start really helping the Commonwealth. This is the only ending where I think the Commonwealth could actually become completely safe. Yes, it would literally take years, but it could happen. And also, the overall Fallout universe would be greatly affected by this. This would mark the one time the Brotherhood has actually allianced themselves with two other factions, and they're happy coexisting with two other factions. It would also help because the Minutemen could become so powerful, they could become like an actual faction again, like an actual threat. The Minutemen could even leave the Commonwealth and go and patrol other different areas of America, helping different settlers along the way. You never know. But this is what I think would happen if the Minutemen, with my ending, got in power. I'm now going to rank every single faction that I've just been over and tier list them from 4 being the worst to 1st being the best and in last place, I'm going to be placing the Brotherhood of Steel. Now, it was so close, astronomically close between the Institute and Brotherhood here. It was incredibly close. The Institute could easily have been last, and in my original script they were last, but in my personal opinion the Brotherhood actually hurts the Commonwealth more than just leaving it a wreck. So let's go over what they do. The only good thing about the Brotherhood, or the only two good things, is the first thing is that they can protect the Commonwealth. Any large scale threats, they could protect the Commonwealth from another large scale threat like the Institute or the Enclave or anything like that. The second best thing is that I think because the Brotherhood are so racist and so focused on destroying any life that's not human, I think super mutant threats could be dealt with just out of their own goals. The bad thing occurs when you look at the people of the Commonwealth that are going to get affected. Farmers and settlers are going to be miserable because they're just going to be murdered for their land and for their food, or they're just going to be forced. The Commonwealth is still going to be a complete shithole. Raiders, gunners are still going to be lurking around. Synths are now going to get hunted down till extinction. Bye-bye Nick Valentine. And overall the Commonwealth will be a mess. The number one problem is the Minutemen. I think if the Minutemen are still a thing, if you've built up the Minutemen, I think it is irreversible that the Brotherhood will go to war with the Minutemen. I think this purely because in the Brotherhood ending, they are so high on their own power, they would never negotiate with the Minutemen at this point. So war is happening, and by the time war is over, the Commonwealth would just be completely wrecked and damaged. So the Brotherhood, yeah, they do some stuff, but it just wouldn't help. And for the overall Fallout story, the Brotherhood controlling the Commonwealth, the Brotherhood are already one of the biggest factions in Fallout, / the biggest, and I think they own pretty much the most land in America, so them owning Boston really wouldn't change a lot. Up next we have the Institute. Now, I could have easily put the Institute in last, like I say, but the main problem with the Institute here is that they do nothing. Nothing for the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth does not change. It does not change. The Raiders are still a problem. Super Mutants are still a problem. Gunners are still a problem. The Commonwealth's still a shithole. There are still Mirelurks everywhere. It's still a complete mess, and they will do nothing. You know why? Because they're staying under the ground. Yeah, sure, the Minutemen are still a thing if you have them as an option, and if they're a thing, they're still a thing. However, the Minutemen could not tackle all these issues on their own, and even if they could, it would take them such an astronomical amount of time that it just wouldn't be worth it at all. The Institute would also seize all their synths back, so bye-bye synths, you're not free anymore. The Railroad are massacred, and so the Brotherhood, so those two factions are gone, and it's just a bloodbath, but they're hidden with their sparkles under the ground. The only reason why I could see you putting the Institute first, and your reason is justified if you choose this, is because what they do for the overall Commonwealth and the overall Fallout universe, or rather not the Commonwealth, the Fallout universe. The Institute are humanity's one of their best chances of survival, and having them survive is just better for humanity. And if you're putting humanity first, perhaps this is a good choice for you. I could see why people put the Institute first, if that's your opinion. I can see that. If you told me whilst I was writing this script that the fucking Railroad would be second, this is the only time these bastards are coming second in anything, alright? But the Railroad are second for who I think should truly rule the Commonwealth, and I have to justify myself here. I think they're a pretty good option. The Railroad are actually quite good because now all synths are 3. You don't have to worry about the Brotherhood or the Institute boogeymen, and the Railroad would slowly start to take down Raiders. They would then lead on to take down Gunners and Super Mutants in the future. The Railroad could even partner up / go together with the Minutemen if they needed to, but this is a bit dodgy. I'm not sure whether they would or not. But the Commonwealth could slowly start to improve. However, knock knock knock, the Brotherhood are showing up, and the Railroad would completely struggle at this point to gain traction in the fact of getting men. They don't have the clout that the Minutemen do, so they would completely struggle to gain men, gain supplies, actually gain a footing. And the Brotherhood war, if they could go with the Minutemen, maybe they could win. On their own, I feel like it would be a long guerrilla warfare war, which they wouldn't win. With the Minutemen, once again, long guerrilla warfare war, which they could win, but by the time they've won, the damage to the Commonwealth would be so much that they kind of almost wouldn't win, because the Commonwealth would just be so damaged. Also, it would take the Railroad such a long time, and also, the overall Fallout universe would not be affected by the Railroad getting powered. It's just another ragtag group owning Boston, so really no different than Raiders, except they're nicer, so yeah, that's why they're second though. Well, this is it. Who I truly think should rule and own the Commonwealth. And it is the Minutemen. If you told me at the start of this video, or at the start of this script rather that I was writing, that the Minutemen would be the faction I chose to run it all, I would have laughed and said, no, surely it's the Brotherhood or Institute, right? First of all, building an army with the Minutemen would not be hard, because the Minutemen have so much, and we're going off the Minutemen ending that I got, so the Brotherhood and Railroad are alive. This means the Railroad can focus on killing Raiders, and the Brotherhood can keep the whole Commonwealth safe. The Minutemen and Brotherhood could make a deal where the settlers don't get bothered by the Brotherhood, and the Minutemen sort out their farming issues for them. In exchange, the Brotherhood can take technology where they want and please. The people of the Commonwealth would never be happier, and this shithole that is the Commonwealth could finally be turned into something good. I'm talking water stations, food, and electricity, defences. The Commonwealth could become a safe haven for not just the Minutemen, but everyone as a whole. Synths are safe, the people are safe, the Minutemen can begin to mobilise. And what does this mean for the overall Fallout story? Well, I'd argue it actually means the most. Because not only does this keep the most factions alive, the most people alive, but the Minutemen are now allied with 2 factions, one being the Brotherhood, one of the most powerful factions in America, and the other being the Railroad, a freedom faction. The Minutemen could then eventually do up the whole of Boston, and it could become a utopia, a paradise, a safe haven away from what was once nuclear disaster. The Minutemen could then, once they move and mobilise their troops and have enough, they could move them out of the Commonwealth, or start to move troops out and seek to help other people of the Fallout universe. Wow, that was a long video, and that was a long script, and that was long editing. And to anyone who's even made it to the end of this video, I just want to thank you straight away without delay, because I can't wait to look on my YouTube analytics and see that 1% of you have. But any of you who've even clicked on this video, you've done me a massive service. I wanted to hit 1K by the end of this month. I really don't think it's going to happen, but, you know, just from making this video alone, I love making Fallout videos, I love interacting with you guys, and just from making this video, I can tell the channel will grow, hopefully. I can tell people are going to like this, hopefully. I say this all hopefully, but I just want to thank you all. If you've made it to the end of this video, please do consider subscribing. If you like the video, please do subscribe. I want to see your comments. I will look at them. I will respond. I will react. I will interact. To any of you who thought I was done or just, you know, taking the week off, no, I've been doing this video. And next Sunday or Saturday, you have a review coming out, which I think you'll all be looking forward to. A trailer for that will be dropping soon. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I hope you enjoy the next ones. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Anyway, you guys stay safe now. You guys stay safe now is what I meant to say. You guys stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Stay safe, guys. Peace.